My name is John Green, and welcome to Crash Course on Crash Courses. I know, strange. Today we're going to discuss our knowledge question. Does the simplicity of knowledge models limit the quality of the knowledge it teaches? Now, let's look and see some different perspectives. For the purpose of this presentation, we're defining quality as a standard of something, measured against other things of a similar kind, the degree of excellence of something. Hey guys, still John Green here. Okay, let's dive right in.
Dive!
Hey, you in the...
Our first perspective is that simplifying knowledge models actually does not result in any decline in the quantity of knowledge provided. This is actually a fair assumption to make, because all knowledge remains completely accurate, and is often even easier to understand than a very dense and heavily worded book full of information, such as, say, an encyclopedia. The knowledge is simplified, not changed. Because there is less information to memorize, it is easier for our mind to understand what we're learning. Let's look at our real-life situation, the John Green Crash Course videos, like this one right now. They simplify, for example, the history of the Mongols into a 12-minute segment. They're made to be funny and fast-paced to keep the viewer entertained and attached to the subject, while still teaching the viewer a good amount of information. While they do tend to leave out a good amount of the facts, just, because of the limitation of time, the quality of knowledge can be seen as quite valuable, because it's theoretically the meatiest information.
Arby's, we have the meats.
Because, for lack of better words, it made the cut and was included in the video. The information that the videos contain is actually quite helpful. Say you have a Socratic seminar on World War II, and you haven't done any of the reading because you were just way too busy working on a TOK presentation. If you were to go to a crash course and watch a video on the matter, you'd probably become pretty reasonably educated. Instead of having to read hundreds of pages of confusing facts, you'd only have to watch a simple video and you're all caught up. While there might be less physical knowledge presented, the knowledge is analyzed and weeded out, and what is presented is still of good quality. A crash course video can help you learn more than just historical facts, too. Say you're starting a new unit in math class, and you want to get a head start. Watching a short video, you can get an outline of all the important concepts and know how to solve the essential equations. In addition to the crash course videos, another simplified model is this globe. Globes quite literally condense a world of information
Bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide as I step in the room.
into an accessible model for our pleasure and education. Pun intended. It doesn't say all the information, of course, so, you couldn't look on here and find boring Oregon or the closest McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
But, that's not really the point of a globe. The globe is intended to show the Earth in the shape and placement of continents. It also shows the big important things like capitals and international borders. Yes, for all simplified models, you're not going to have the same quantity of knowledge as you would otherwise, but that's irrelevant to the quality of the information.
Look at me. Look at me. I am John Green now. Well, that was all good fun, but what if you disagree with everything I just said? You probably won't because I'm John Green, but just in case, let's look at a different perspective. This time, we'll discuss how the abundance of knowledge is the only way to obtain accurate and substantial knowledge. Models essentially negate any knowledge gained. For example, the only true way to learn a subject would be to do it the old-fashioned way. Either sit down with a handy textbook, or go out in the real world and observe the details of every day. The Crash Course videos are simply too fast.
Paul ist der Schnellste aus den Blöcken. Jetzt kommt er. Und jetzt ist Usain Bolt nicht zu halten. Nein!
Can you even process all the information if it's coming at you this fast? Well, this is a video, so I'll answer for you. You can't. It is impossible to obtain adequate knowledge, and possibly the biggest and most disastrous problems about models, such as Crash Course, is that they give the viewer the impression that they are knowledgeable on the topic, when in reality, their knowledge is rather limited. Emotion, as a way of knowing, played a big role here. The viewer or wannabe scholar believes or has faith that the knowledge in the memory is sufficient to cover the topic, when in reality it is not. There is nothing worse than someone who thinks they know something when they really don't. While there are instances where general knowledge on the topic is enough, the viewer often loses certain skills by relying on crash courses. They lose the talents of taking notes, reading, and critically analyzing something for themselves. These skills are crucial to being functional members of society. Knowledge is simply too vast as the Mongols' intercontinental empire. I digress. But the reality is, there is so much knowledge that a simple 12-minute video just isn't enough to learn about something. Sorry, kids.
Which brings me to my main point, and that is that I will not be able to pay for anybody's tuition. I'm so sorry.
You're kidding.
Excuse me?
Looks like it's time for the mystery document. Let's see what the quote is today. I don't want to be a supermodel. I want to be a role model. No, Stan, wrong type of model. Here's another quote. I know nothing because I know too much, and I understand not nearly enough and never will. Ooh, let's see if I get this one right. Dang, is it Gandhi? Okay, who was it? Anne Rice. Got it. Oh well, continue on to perspective 3.
Welcome back to Crash Course with John Green. Now let's discuss a possible third perspective, where in order to sufficiently acquire knowledge, one must use both a simplified knowledge models and complex abundance knowledge. With this perspective, we're going kind of with a Hannah Montana sort of approach, best of both worlds.
You get the best of both worlds. Chill it out, take it slow, then you rock out the show.
Initially, you can use a simplified knowledge model, such as a Crash Course video, to get an overview of the topic. Then, when continuing to pursue the subject matter, use a more in-depth approach, such as a detailed book, or an in-person observation. In addition, you can use the simplified knowledge model as a review guide when brushing up on the subject. For example, let's say you're learning Union history, on the Armenian genocide. It'd be tough to find anything here because, well, it never happened. The first thing you might look at when introduced to this topic could be a timeline outlining some, important sources or ideas. Here you have learned an overarching idea of World War II. You have the ability to describe the events, or at least name the events. But then, once you become more familiar with the basic sense, you may read through a textbook and learn the details of specific battles or, the treaties. This way you have both a general idea of what happened, along with the details used as evidence. Finally, returning to the simplified knowledge models, you could review what you learned in the note cards. Again, an outline of the general idea of World War II or the Armenian genocide would never happened. Certain AOKs, such as math, you cannot just do an overview of the subject. You need to learn the whole darn thing for it to work. If you're solving a problem, you need to know all the equations and techniques necessary. You can't understand calculus without being able to multiply and divide. This ties into the methodology of math, which is continually building upon itself, while history can be seen as a collection of thoughts and facts.